ending mass incarceration. That's on the ballot right now. And there is one candidate who will advance those things. And there is another candidate whose defining principle, the central theme of his candidacy, is opposition to all that we've done. There's no such thing as a vote that doesn't matter. It all matters. And after we have achieved historic turnout in 2008 and 2012, especially in the African American community, I will consider it a personal insult, an insult to my legacy, if this community lets down its guard and fails to activate itself in this election. You want to give me a good send-off? Go vote. And I'm going to be working as hard as I can these next 7 weeks to make sure folks do.
I'm sorry, Doctor. I have no time to discuss this logically. Remember.
Build a working majority to move an agenda forward. That is what I said. Now, you can dispute that, but let me finish. Hillary, you went on for 2 minutes. Let me finish. The irony of this is that you provided much more fulsome praise of Ronald Reagan in a book by Tom Brokaw that's being published right now, as did Bill Clinton in the past. So these are the kinds of political games that we are accustomed to. I'm sorry.
Well, wait a minute. Just a minute.
Senator Edwards, let them wrap up and then I'm going to come to you.
In this video, I'd like to discuss political narratives and why narratives are made in the first place. This video was inspired by a conversation that I had with one of my youngest nieces. Girl is 10 years old, worried about racism and Donald Trump. 10 years old. And I had to tell her that not to take what politicians say too seriously. Take it seriously. You should care about the world around you, but don't take it too seriously, because they have to do what they have to do to get your vote. It's just that I think that over the last few years, it's not become politics as much as it become propaganda, and it's been so severe that they don't even care what pieces need to be picked up. They just want what they want. And if we destroy ourselves for their benefit, all the well. But don't take any politician, Trump, doesn't matter, Hillary Clinton, Obama, don't take none of them too seriously, because listen to what they say about each other.
Well, that was his choice, remember. There was no rule or requirement that he take his name off the ballot. And his supporters ran a very aggressive campaign to try to get people to vote uncommitted. So it wasn't that he didn't participate at all. In fact, there was a real effort to get people to vote uncommitted, and I still won 55% of the vote.
You say that that is a fair result even without Barack Obama's name on the ballot?
Well, that was his choice, Steve. I mean,
wasn't it the Democratic Party's choice that it would not be a result that would be counted, and most people took their names off the ballot?
No, I think that the Democratic Party said that they would not, under the circumstances, count the votes. But we all had a choice as to whether or not to participate in what was going to be a primary. And most people took their names off the ballot, but I didn't.
As for Senator Clinton's claim that the Democratic candidates, quote, all had a choice as to whether or not to participate, that is apparently patently false. All candidates, including Senator Clinton, having signed a pledge vowing that they would not participate in the Michigan or Florida primaries. Quoting from that document, therefore I, your candidate's name here, Democratic candidate for president, in honor and in accordance with DNC rules, pledge to actively campaign in the pre-approved early states, Iowa, Nevada, New Hampshire, and South Carolina. I pledge I shall not campaign or participate in any election contest occurring in any state not already authorized by the DNC to take place in the DNC approved pre-window, any date prior to February 5, 2008. on the plane ride from Chicago to Washington, D.C. this morning. Senator Obama making his own argument against Senator Clinton's claim that the Michigan contest was fair, with an assist from his 6-year-old daughter.
I don't know exactly how she drew that conclusion, since I didn't step foot in Michigan and my name wasn't on the ballot. So, yeah, the notion that somehow it would be fair for her to obtain significantly more delegates than me in a contest where we both agreed it wouldn't count. I wasn't on the ballot and I didn't campaign there. Just defies, logic. I think you could ask my 6-year-old whether that was fair, and she would probably be able to say, no, that isn't.
Senator Clinton, this is the same person who has taken more money from lobbyists than any other candidate, Democratic or Republican, taking more money from drug company lobbyists and insurance company lobbyists, and she's saying, I'm out of touch? Who do you think is out of touch?
Okay, so probably like most people that are gonna see, well, maybe not, because given the result, maybe I really am different, and maybe a lot of people that I'm surrounded by think with open minds and open hearts like I do. And I do want to say that I've been very vocal for my support for everyone besides Donald Trump. Heavily supported Bernie, heavily supported Hillary. And I still think that in her lifetime she deserves to be the first female president. And that's what makes me so sad.
Good Lord, what you crying for?
That she had an opportunity because she's fought for so long. And because I believe her when she says that she loves this country. This is all she's ever done. She's given her life to make it better.
Yeah, man. You just gotta tell everybody, bro. Everybody in America. Man, it's all right. We're fucked!
Dumb. You don't even realize when they're getting used. I'm just praying to God that Donald Trump was just playing racist, because y'all know y'all little dumbass niggas gonna fall for that dumbass trap. Like, come on now. Like, Donald Trump is a millionaire from New York. You think he could really relate to you redneck country bumpkin ass? No, he don't. I know for a fact that nigga think that's some ignorant goddamn imbeciles. Like, come on now. You think Mexicans is packing their bags right now? You think we want static with Mexico? They are so close to us, they could call Russia anytime. Like, hey, y'all want some nukes pointing at America? Give us a call back. Then we want static with Muslims. Most of our resources come from there. Like, we've been fighting them to get oils from there for years. You think we still want that? No. But y'all so dumb. Y'all don't even realize how this man is playing y'all like imbeciles, like stupid ass rednecks. And this different.
You trying to tell me a country, Mexico doesn't have the money, the power, the resources to demand to Russia that they bomb us? The logic is over the top. You got to check with your medical provider on this. But, like they're going to start World War III because Mexico's offended at us. So, no, we don't get the majority of our resources from, Muslims or the Middle East. Actually, we get the majority of our resources, believe it or not, from China, or as Trump says, China. We don't get it from the Middle East, we get it from China. Again, check with your medical provider.
Donald Trump is in the office, man. Shit ugly. Moving to Africa with Dave Chappelle and Nas, like he did on Belly. Moving to Africa, fuck it. That's how we rockin', man. That's how we come. Donald Trump, moving to Africa, fuck it. My African homie right here.
I'd really like to know how that's going. I don't think Africa would have you, but I'd really like to know. People have been saying that for years. I'm moving to Africa and all this. You've never been to Africa. We're not Africans. I hate the term African American. African American means you're an immigrant directly from Africa, and then you gain your citizenship legally. That's an African American. I like black folks. That's simple. Black folks, white folks. And look, the work that it would take for us as a people to make Africa anything like what we're used to, we would have better lives here in America if we were willing to do that kind of work. No, we're not going to do it. That's just bravado.
Tomorrow's supposed to be the beginning of the end of the world as we know it as people of color. So, but I want you to just consider, and this is really, really aimed at people who honestly believe this stuff. I mean, like my 9-year-old, my 10-year-old, my nieces, they're in grade school talking about this stuff. Is Trump gonna get us? Because they're people of color. And I had to tell her, finally, because she was worried. Little girl was worried. And I finally had to tell her, look, anyone running against President Obama and or Hillary Clinton was branded a racist. They would have been called a racist. If they were black, they would have been called Uncle Tom, no question. Anyone who ran in any way, criticized, had any issue with anything they did would have been called a racist or an Uncle Tom, no matter who they were or what they did in their past life. I mean, think about it. Name a racist celebrity, for instance, like, because Trump was doing that for a while, his show The Apprentice. So is like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Is he a racist? You know, does he like black people? Does he not like black people? Can a racist say all the right things and say, well, I like gays, but I don't like blacks? I mean, can you know with certainty, aside from the media, can you know, is Tom Cruise a racist? What has he done to the right or to the left that would make you have an opinion about him one way or the other? Name any celebrities, that aren't people of color that you believe are racist. That card carrying, if they could, they would hang you by the tree. Who? Tell me. This was good old fashioned political science run amok, and they don't have to live with the results. We do.
Thinking emotionally, not rationally. And now Steve Harvey threatening his career because all he did was talk to the man. So if let's just say Trump's the greatest racist that ever lived, and there are a lot of people who, for the inauguration, they're afraid for their careers. They won't be able to find work. They'll be denied because if they participate, they don't hate the man, but they're afraid for their careers. This is what these people have done to us. This is how they set this up. And then we just follow lock, stock, and barrel without even caring. So Steve Harvey, if he could, he'd be buried in an Obama casket. He loves Obama. He didn't vote. He voted for Hillary. He didn't vote for Trump. But now that Trump got it, he's just gonna talk to the man and see what he can do for inner city. And I'll never watch his show again. People are just blasting Steve Harvey like he's not a black man anymore. And anyone else, so if he gets the presidency, let's say he is all those things, people who voted for John McCain and Sarah Palin, they didn't go into a depression and have to get Xanax and everything else and march and take to the streets when Obama won, and then he won again against Mitt Romney, right? We can't extend the same courtesy. Forget whether you like them or dislike them. In other countries, people are told who your dictator will be, and usually they'll hand it to their son, whether he's capable or not. And we get to vote in who we want. And, you know, there aren't enough, like this girl say, country bumpkins. There aren't enough people in West Virginia to vote Trump in. Black people voted for him. White people voted for him. Hispanic people voted for him. Asian people voted for him. Women voted for him. And the media still thinks you don't know what's good for you. And they like they're doing now what they did before the election. Before, you know, they were saying, oh, the polls, everybody loves Hillary and everybody hates Trump and Hillary, all I remember at CBS, the guy on there, I'll never forget, he said, all Hillary has to do is keep her cool and she'll win. Basically, they're pulling for her. And Trump's this out of control idiot and Trump's gonna lose her, and then he won. And then they're saying now, the polls are saying there's a 32% favorable opinion of Donald Trump, and everybody hates everybody he elected to office, all his cabinet. They hate all them, and the American people just hate Donald. And they're doing the same thing now as they did when Hillary and Donald Trump were running for president. They're telling us what we want. They're telling us what we want to hear. And they're telling us, and it's not for our benefit, it's for theirs. You see.
Took her daughter out of school early Wednesday for this. Her emotions ran high following Obama's speech.
It was the most memorable time of my life. It was a touching moment because I never thought this day would ever happen. I won't have to worry about putting gas in my car. I won't have to worry about paying my mortgage. You know, if I help him, he's gonna help me.
It's not rational because I guess because she's black and he's so-called black. I'm not gonna have. You still have to pay rent. Nothing changed. Nothing changed. So everything that it took to get ahead, it took after Obama got there. There's one group that did advance big time, but it wasn't black folk. And I ain't gonna get in that right now. But I'm just saying, don't be careful when you take all of this stuff too seriously. You know, if it's being beat down your brain in mainstream, probably ain't true. And it's probably meant to create an outcome. I use what I hear to go find the real truth on my own. I don't expect anyone to tell me the truth because they just care about me all of a sudden. No. Everyone does what they do for themselves.
We must not be guilty of wrongful deeds. Let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred.